Should've lived back in a bit, meditate, I think I should. No, we ain't friends, got me on
What's going on, guys? It's Bryce from Fitz Records, and we're back with another video. We got a video on Joey Bada's upcoming release, 2000. We got a new track to talk about, but before we get into that, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my videos, any of my updates, anything like that. Follow my TikTok, my Twitter, my Spotify down there below, too, in the description. Joey Bada has dropped a new song. It is called Survivor's Guilt, and it is quite the serious track because it is a homage to the late Capital STEEZ, one of Joey Bada's best friends and frequent collaborators back in the day. And this track kind of just talks about how Joey has dealt with this loss in his life. This is clearly kind of a sequel to the song Survival Tactics, which was on 1999. As you can see, 2000 sequel to 1999. Survival Guilt, sequel to Survival Tactics. You see the dichotomy here. So in this video, I'm just gonna go over kind of this track and what kind of he is talking about and where he stands and what he says in the lyrics, because this track is pretty deep, honestly. But if you want more details on the collaborators, stuff like that, I do have a video about that I uploaded a few days ago, so I'm gonna link that up here, so make sure you watch that if that's what you're interested in. But today we're just gonna be talking about Survivor's Guilt. I mean, just starting out the track, we have Capital STEEZ on the intro talking about kind of life in society and how he is being treated, which I assume is just the societal norms of the real life and how to live, especially being a black man in America. I mean, that's kind of what I got from the intro. And the hook comes in, Joey Bada saying this one is for you, talking about Capital STEEZ. Obviously, this is a homage track, and he's extremely honest on this track, as you'll see. He talks about how Capital STEEZ's death has affected him both personally and professionally, and how he's lived with this kind of survivor's guilt because of their friendship and everything that was going on in the time when STEEZ did pass away. Because if you don't know, STEEZ did commit suicide. He had a lot of mental health problems, which Joey will get into later in the track. Joey also praises Capital STEEZ, saying that, you were better than me. Like, I could not top you. Joey's basically saying, like, if you were around now, like, you would be up there with me or way past me at this point. And I respect that a lot, and I don't think that's something Joey's just saying because he's passed, because I remember when STEEZ was around, I mean, people were saying that, STEEZ is like that. Like, STEEZ is like that. And people were kind of looking at Joey like he was the weaker link, which honestly was kind of true at the time. And of course, there's no way we'd be able to know what it would look like now if STEEZ did not tragically pass away, but Joey's kind of making that connection as if it did happen. And to add on to that, I mean, Joey's just saying, without STEEZ, there would be no Joey. They're kind of part of each other. They were with each other in its inception and pro era and foundation to what Joey has brought up almost a decade later. And Joey did kind of go into more about STEEZ's mental health problems, and Joey actually reflected on some of the disagreements they'd had, I'd assume professionally, about music, stuff like that. And he said he partially blames himself for STEEZ's death, which is kind of crazy. And just the fact that this is something he's openly saying now, that has been affecting him, like I said, personally and professionally for over a decade now, that's a lot to weigh on a person. This whole track is extremely honest and open and deep. And the fact that it took 10 years to get a track like this out just shows almost how genuine it is and how from the heart this is from Joey, because he really means everything he's saying, and he's meant it for so long and felt these feelings for so long. He finally felt comfortable with opening that up to the world. Joey does kind of talk about the death of his cousin Junior B's and how that's affected him, kind of showing some more respect for the deceased and how this has affected Joey's mental and his career leading up to this point. And the outro is from TDE's very own Ab-Soul, and he talks about how he played his album for Pro Era back in the day and didn't even realize they were Pro Era before they even started like coming up like that in New York, which was pretty crazy to hear. I mean, that whole area, super connected. It's always interesting to me to hear how these artists have come up and how they grew and where their foundations come from in their hometowns, stuff like that. I think that's really interesting. And basically this track was just about how to deal with existential death and crisis, like in your personal life, in your close personal life, and think about others and how this may have affected them and what led up to certain things. And just it's really about reflection, honestly. And Joey did a lot of reflecting on this track about himself, about STEEZ, about his career, and it all kind of ties back together to bring this beautiful track. And this is one of my favorite tracks of the year, one of the deepest tracks of the year, and I cannot wait to hear 2000. I mean, it's leading up to be an insane album. But like I said, I do have a video kind of talking about all that, So I'm going to link that at the end of the video here too as well. But I just wanted to talk about this track and kind of my thoughts about it, kind of do a little bit of an analysis type thing. So I appreciate you guys watching. You know, like I said, 2000 is going to be crazy. I do not think Joey will disappoint. I'll have some content on that when it comes out eventually. And yeah, it's been Bryce. Peace.
Can't I picture little Bobby, just a young run around with his bands, hammer in his hand, feeling like a man.